someone who like served in the military and they got like discharged or not served anymore. No, it's better.
Yeah, that's pretty much right, but it's someone who discharged in a way other than dishonorable. A dishonorable discharge is when you're in the military and you break like a major rule or you commit a felony, and it's as bad as a felony. It'll follow you for the rest of your life, and it will prevent you from like getting jobs and such, and so you'll get a dishonorable discharge. It's really bad, but I'll talk about that more later. Military reservists are not veterans, and I'll be talking about the United States Department of Veterans Affairs later, but they stated that there are 33,000 homeless veterans in the United States right now. So the main reason for veteran homelessness is the lack of transitional resources. So what that means is that when you're finished with your military service, you might have been in a combat role or some other role, but either way, you've been in the military for at least 4 years, and you're not used to like being in a regular job or being with civilians every day. So it's a huge transition. And so with the lack of resources, it makes it difficult for them to transition to civilian life. So someone tell me what PTSD is.
Post-traumatic stress disorder?
Yes, post-traumatic stress disorder. So what that could mean is, at least for this veteran, he was obviously in combat. That could mean they face a lot of experiences that invokes like mental trauma, just a lot of horrible experiences. They see a lot of things. And yeah, those just invoke a lot of long-lasting trauma. So in their everyday life, if they're talking to someone, it might spike, or in their sleep, they might have a really bad dream. And so if they try to work a job or something like that, they get come into play there. It makes it really difficult for them to keep a job and interact in civilian life. Healthcare access. When they get out of the military, well, they don't get paid very much. I'll get into that, but they don't have immediate healthcare. So if they have like a leg that got blown off or some other issue, that could be mental, physical, it's really difficult for them to get that treated. So it could lead to their homelessness. And affordable housing. We all live in LA, which is very expensive, as well as like New York and just America in general. We have very expensive housing. And when they get out in the military, at the very baseline, they get paid like $20,000, which is not much. So it's very difficult for them to be able to pay for housing. And so they usually end up on the streets because, along with the other reasons I mentioned, they don't have the resources to be able to afford the high housing prices. So luckily they have support from organizations like the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing. So the Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing, their goal is to make housing affordable and to also put veterans in temporary homes, just so they could have homes, and they'll deal with the rest of it. So these organizations provide services like rehabilitation. That means like some veterans might struggle from drug or alcohol abuses and they need rehabilitation, counseling for like mental disorders, housing assistance, job training. Like I said, with transitioning from the military, they need to retrain for jobs and healthcare. So the Housing First program, that was instituted by the VASH. The goal of the Housing First program is to first put a homeless veteran in a house. So if that veteran has PTSD or anything they're struggling with, they kind of put that second and put that veteran in a permanent or temporary house first, and then they take care of the veteran. This program has been the main cause for stopping a lot of veteran homelessness, and it's done very well, but it has its flaws. For instance, it's very expensive to put people in houses for so cheap, you know. So now we're gonna do an activity. I'm gonna give you guys a scenario of a homeless veteran, and then I'm gonna ask you guys a question on what they could have done better, or what the government could do to help. So David got out of his military service and moved into his partner's home. After many continuous disputes, they separated. So David lived with his sister. David and his sister were unfortunately the only ones left in the family. They did not have enough money to keep paying rent and got evicted. Now David is living on the streets, unfortunately. So what could the government have done better to ensure a situation like this doesn't happen?
Well, they could have assisted David with
do you guys think this veteran could have done to avoid this homelessness? Yeah.
Probably like gotten a job. I mean, that's kind of hard though, that like transitioning with PTSD and all that.
Yeah.
So I could have, but it would have been pretty hard.
Exactly. He could, yeah, try to get a job, and like you said, it's hard to transition with the things after the military service. But he could have applied for VA benefits as well to try to get job training. So for Michael returned home after a career in a combat role, and he found himself unable to find work. Additionally, he struggled readjusting to civilian life. Michael was dealing with undiagnosed PTSD, and as his life unraveled, losing money and relationships, then he found himself on the streets. So once again, what do you guys think the government could have done to help him?
They probably could have gotten him a doctor to take care of his PTSD.
Exactly, yeah, he could have gone counseling, training, and so he could adjust to civilian life with PTSD. And what do you guys think Michael should have done?
He probably should have and could have gotten it himself. Once he started realizing that he had symptoms of PTSD, he probably should have gone to the VA to check if to get it diagnosed, and then by extension get himself access to the appropriate resources.
Exactly, yeah, that's perfect. Right, that's right. So for my action, I went to the VA Medical Center campus where they house many homeless veterans, and there's a VA Medical Center somewhere. That's it right there. And they house a lot of veterans who are suffering from a lot of injuries, physical, mental, and yeah. So what I did is, so what these houses are, these are the temporary houses that the veterans are housed in. The buildings are pretty much from there to here, maybe even shorter and probably as tall as this building. And I'm not sure what's inside, but you can imagine it's not very much. So those are like the temporary housing that the VA is offering these veterans. Because before this, they were, look, if you go back a slide, they were pretty much on tents outside the campus right here. They were in tents, and so the VA allowed them to be housed in these buildings. So what I did is, since I wasn't allowed to go inside that facility, I waited outside for veterans to come, and I stopped them and I asked them some questions about their experiences. First, I asked them, what led to their homelessness, and second, I asked them, I don't remember. The third thing I asked them was their advice they give to people who just got finished with their military service. And the third thing I asked them was if they tried to get any services after their military service. So this man right here, I didn't get his name. He actually had the scenario David had. So so that was a realistic scenario. I just took the scenario and made it make a bit more sense, because it was kind of difficult to talk to them a bit, because it was hard to understand and they were kind of jumping all over the place. But how I felt during the interaction, it was really enjoyable, because I kind of spent this whole project for the last few months on my computer and looking up, watching YouTube videos and reading scenarios from veterans. So it was really nice to be able to talk to someone one-on-one and ask them follow-up questions to what they have to say, so I could really understand their scenario and like a model scenario for a lot of veterans. So solutions, how do we solve the issue? Well, first, we can fix the main causes, which I mentioned were PTSD, affordable housing, and healthcare. That would be a big thing. Promoting benefits. A lot of these veterans, you might think, well, why don't they just all apply for VA benefits, right? Well, a lot of these veterans might misunderstand the application process, and they also might not understand the qualifications for some benefits that the VA offers. So what we need to do is we need to promote the benefits and make them aware of the qualifications, so everyone can apply as soon as they get out of the military. Also, affordable housing. What you guys could do is you could promote, or once you're old enough, vote for policies that are for affordable housing in LA, since LA is really expensive. So now we're gonna do a kukutanage. I didn't pay for the premium version, so it's the first 10 people that.
Let's go. Don't put the pin up yet. Oh, come on. Don't put it up. Don't do it to me. Come on. Do it. Give me a
Yes! Let's go!
That's more than 10 people, so if you
Who else
get it.
joined with the name
Wait,
Matthew?
wait.
Who's the other Matthew?
Boy,
Matthew. I'll just move my last name.
Kory Jackson.
Is that everybody?
And the skeleton's no one.
I'm in.
Anybody not in?
I think I'm sure it's
No.
just invalid.
Alright, so these are questions based on what I just said, so we're gonna see if you're listening, okay? There is a prize, come to me after class if you would.
Wait.
Is there a prize for second or third place as well?
Maybe, we'll see.
Nah, only winners.
So how many veterans experience homelessness on any given night? I said it. I said it.
Yes, I got it. I'm 8th place. I'm in 8th. I was listening.
What are common causes of veteran homelessness?
Oh, shoot.
No! I was third place. I was second.
Quiet down. What is a way we can solve veteran homelessness?
No, please. I got this.
Alright, so donating, we can't stop veteran homelessness by donating food, but you can help an individual veteran out, so please do that. And also, increasing taxes, okay. And donating clothes, you can help individual veterans too, please do that. What strategy can be implemented by the government to prevent veteran homelessness?
Right. Oh, shoot. It's green.
Yeah, it's 2 to 5 points based on.
I didn't hit your
Quiet.
I didn't hit
As I mentioned before, that's what the VA did, and it does not stop veteran homelessness. It's temporary, and it's not classified as them not being homeless.
Really trying to trick us out here.
Alright, last one. What are some ways you can help solve this issue? Alright, so all these options are things you guys can do, maybe when you're older or now, to support veterans and help stop veteran homelessness in general. Alright, good job, Liz. Good job, Matthew.
Let's go!
Calvin, you can come up here.
Oh wait, Calvin. I didn't even notice.
Okay, so an engaged citizen, at least in my definition, an engaged citizen is someone